Morning.
Hello, Frank. All right.
How are we?
Did you get all your shopping done?
Yes, I did yesterday.
Any tips then?
Are you going today? You're brave.
Vouchers, what's the kid's vouchers?
Yeah.
Chelsea vouchers.
Okay, good morning. We're going to start with Carve on Sky Sports News.
Frank, Merry Christmas, first of all.
Thank you. And you?
What's Christmas going to be like for you and the players this year? Because obviously there's not any travelling involved. Is that going to be a big advantage?
Well, yeah, an advantage against if we had to go far, obviously, this time of year particularly. But it's still focused and it's still busy. So the lads will train this morning, the lads will train tomorrow morning, we'll be in a hotel on the evening before the match and prepare as we would do. And it's one of as footballers, we have a lot of benefits in this life, and it's one of the periods where you have to sacrifice a bit of family time. But, the points are on offer over this busy period, and when they come thick and fast, are important to us. We know that, so we'll do everything right in our preparation.
You obviously had a bit of time to reflect on what happened on Sunday. Have you had a chance to speak to Tony Rudiger about what happened?
I spoke to him briefly after the game, but I haven't actually had a one-on-one to speak to him about the incident as such. The lads were off yesterday. I saw Tony's social media post. I thought it was well put. It was from the heart, and it's something he obviously feels very strongly about. So I will speak with him literally after this morning when I see him. I would like to think the players know that I'm with them on anything like this. We had a similar situation with Tammy. I think I was pretty firm about that, and behind the scenes with Tammy. And I'll have exactly the same similar conversation with Tony this morning to know that I support him and all my players in any of these situations.
You were talking about supporting your players. There were some comments that Jose Mourinho made yesterday in his news conference, where he seemed to be suggesting that Tony had maybe made too much of it and that he should man up and just play on. Is this the case of you having to stand up for your player as well?
I think with Tony in this incident, when he's having to post after the game about something that we know is a huge deal, I think to question his integrity in that time is disappointing, for sure, because I think pretty universally, certainly what I heard in the commentary and all the post-match reflection was that the Son incident was a red card. Now, I said it after the game, it wasn't a brutal red card, but it was an instinctive one that warrants a red card in the modern day. And VAR took a couple of minutes, so there was no excuse to the referee not seeing it real, whatever, the referee saw it perfectly. So I think it was pretty clear that was the case. I wouldn't question Tony's integrity on that. If it becomes a question about people standing up or falling down in the Premier League, I think there were a couple of incidences in the last 15 minutes of the game where Tottenham players were going over in the box attempting to win a penalty. So we can open up that debate to not just the red card, but to many incidences across many games. So I do defend Tony firmly on it.
And when it comes to the wider issue of racism, do you think it's a problem in society or it's a football problem? There's been a lot of debate about whether it's something that football can actually ever kick out of the game when it seems to be prevalent in society as a whole as well.
Yeah, it's a problem in society, and football in itself has a responsibility to deal with it as well as it possibly can, as diligently, as strong and firmly as it possibly can. We at Chelsea feel that, and we would deal with it and have dealt with it very firmly in every opportunity we get. So that's all I'm going to say, really, I suppose, on it. I think I've said that a lot this season. I'm not taking away the fact that I might say it again if anything like this happens, but that's how we feel.
Last one, Carve, please.
And on the formation, it worked so well on Sunday, it worked so well at Wolves, worked so well at Ajax as well. Is it something that you're tempted to use more? Is it something that you could use at home as well?
We didn't play at Ajax, we played in Lille. But no, it's fine. But we've played it a few times, we've gone to it in games, and I think it can work. And the reason we played it against Tottenham was because we had a good look at Tottenham and how they play, and I felt it was the best way for us to play. You know, I spoke with the staff a lot last week. We worked and training a lot last week, and it did work. So it's certainly something that we can use, and we'll see how we go going forward.
George.
Frank, hello. I just wondered, looking back, was that your best performance of the season from this group of players?
I think it was. I think the Ajax away game was a different type of game that we dealt with brilliantly on the night. But going to Tottenham in good form, direct rival, ourselves under slight pressure because of recent form. I thought the character, the strength, the fight within the team, on top of the way that they approached the game and controlled it from start to finish, makes it our best performance.
What's it done for the players' mentality, knowing that they can go away to a top four rival like that, play like that, and win so convincingly like that as well?
Well, I hope it helps them. I hope it helps the younger players in particular, because some of them were in the Championship last year. Some of them are getting different new tests that they've never had before this season. But then some of them have been here before and beaten top 6 teams, have won championships, have won trophies over the years. So they've been there before and beaten big teams. So there's a little bit of a mixture. But as a group, that we're quite fresh and a little bit transitional this year. We all know that. Hopefully, within the group, it sets a little statement to ourselves, not to the outside world. I don't mind about how anyone reacts outside about it, but for ourselves, that should give us confidence.
It was a great win, but you've now got to follow it up with a big game on Boxing Day, and then you play Arsenal as well, so you've got to get some points out of their matches as well, isn't it?
Well, we'll try to. Every game is tough. Southampton are in good form. Arsenal have a new manager, and of course have got players that can hurt you. So both those games are going to be tough on their own merit. But I agree, we need to, particularly off the few games, off the back of the few games before Tottenham, we now need to show a bit of another side to our game. Can we get our home form where we want it to be against Southampton?
And going back to Sunday and the incidents, have you noticed as a player and as a manager that there's a lot more vitriol in football stadiums now compared to when you first started playing? Does it feel a lot harsher, the atmospheres from the crowd and the things that are being sung and said?
I thought it was pretty harsh when I played, and I don't mean to smile and joke about it, but I went to White Hart Lane and it was harsh back in the day. For many reasons, and not just White Hart Lane. London derbies, probably teams that come to Stamford Bridge would have felt that. So I'm not sure if it's much harsher. Maybe our eyes are a bit more are on the what might you call it, the abuse that players are taking, and I'm not just talking about the Tony Rudiger situation or the alleged incident, but I'm talking about generally. So I always do think that when we start to isolate certain incidences, we come away from the fact that we do have this problem where people are very negative and very aggressive, and on social media and in stadiums, and I think it's something that we really all need to look at ourselves about.
Last one, George.
Sorry, do you think it's social media is almost driving it in a way?
I've had lots of conversations about the social media thing. We know that it's become a bit of a gateway for people to vent their frustrations or vent for abuse at people, not just footballers, across the board. That's why I'm not so mad on a lot of parts of it. That's where we're at.
Okay, last question, Jerry at the back.
Frank, we spoke to Mason Mount after the game, and he said that performance was showing the sort of character you asked for after Bournemouth, and he feels it could be a bit of a turning point for some of the young players as far as showing what they can do. Would that have any impact on your plans this January in terms of transfers?
No, not in terms of the plans for January. I asked for a reaction after Bournemouth. I asked for a reaction myself with the players pre-Tottenham, and they gave it. And but I wasn't of the belief or the thinking that they couldn't give it. I believe in these players and the young players. And I thought Mason Mount's performance, not just to isolate Mason, because I thought Tammy was fantastic and Tamori were, but his performance against Tottenham was a great example of why you want to stick with and have patience with these young players, because he's a young boy. There will be moments when a game will be difficult for him and he'll learn, and the next one he'll be better, and then there'll be games like we saw the other day where you see the player that he is. And I think if we're not patient and if we don't stick with the players, then you might be in a situation like we have been before, where absolute top world-class players at this minute have been at Chelsea when they were 20 or 21, and managers maybe didn't stick with them so much then. I'm in a position where I'm going to stick with them.
Okay.
Can we just check team? Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go on, Frank.
Is there any new injuries?
There's a couple of Azpilicueta had a small issue at the end of the game, hence he came off. He never comes off, so we need to check that one this morning. Other than that, I think we're pretty much where we are. But there were some bumps and bruises, so there's nothing clear, but we'll see.
Okay, thank you. Cameras off, please.